Well, good evening, race fans, and welcome here to the Milwaukee Mile for round number 11 of the American Sim Racing Club's Super Late Model Invitational right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. As always, this is Upstate Al bringing you all of tonight's racing action, and we are proud to bring you what is going to be an exciting race. It's also brought to you by Tallarico's Boardwalk Subs, Jersey-style soups, subs, and salads serving West Michigan. Premier Racing Setups and LaPlante Racing Service Racing Products. That is our proud sponsors here this evening. Heat race number 1 already in the books. Is heat race number 2 rolling down here in the back stretch as we get ready to go with round number 11, heat race number 1. These are your results for heat race number 1 as you watch in the background. It was Hayden Swink picking up the win. Ron Hart, Nick Fleury, Richie Murray, and Zach Coyer, your top 5. And here we go with heat race
Be ready, green flag.
number 2, and we are underway here at the Milwaukee Mile, a big mile racetrack. These super late miles going to get up to song. They are going to get up to song in a hurry as they all work down the backstretch for the first time here in heat race number 2. Brent Hahn out to the early race lead over Tim Rogers. You see right there in behind them is Braxton Deweese. Deweese in that number 8 car running in third. Fourth spot is Hoffman, but back here Mojeski out of line, and they're going to enter turn number 1, almost 3 wide. That's McDonald on the outside in the 18. Mojeski in that 09. He's working there with the 711 of Eric Kahn. So both Hans in this one, and Craig Tilley unable to make the start. Here this evening, and here comes the number 49 of Cook. Cook sporting some new looks here this evening. They all work here down the back stretch. This track is super big. A lot of different racing rooms, and I'm excited to see if that outside line will come in here. Usually a more bottom dominant racetrack. And we will find out what will happen out here on this racetrack. But up front, it is Rogers and Hahn out to the front of this one as they work it down the backstretch. Brett Hahn, Braxton Deweese, and Steve Hoffman, your top 4 breakaway. Glad to have Chris and Dennis out there chiming in, rooting on their favorite driver, Braxton Deweese, here in heat race number 2. And you can see that right on the race screen. But Eric Hahn back here in the 711, trying to find some ground up on the Braden Cook entry. Cook usually in that black and blue number 49, sporting some new colors, and it is a sharp-looking race scheme. As Mojeski takes a look to the inside to move Caleb up to the number 6 position now in heat race number 2. And these are timed heat races, so just a little bit under 5 minutes left to go. As they all work down here through turns 3 and 4. Big sweeping cars. Corners here with these high-powered, super fast, super late models. How fast do you want to see how they're going? We can do that. Go on there and see a minimum of 100, now dipping down into the 90s. Up off the corner to above 100 miles an hour, and they are flying down the backstretch into the 150 mark as they hit turn number 3. So these super late models really flying around here. Let's see how fast your race leader is. Let's go on board with him. This is the driver of the 71, Brett Hahn, the driver out of Brighton, Michigan. here. Nice and easy on that throttle, trying not to buzz those rear tires. They're doing a good job doing so. Here we're just under 4 minutes left to go in qualifier number 2. Chris out there pumping up the crowd. We like to see that, Chris. Glad to have you be part of our broadcast here once again on a wonderful, cold, frigid Wednesday night here in the upstate New York area. That's where the broadcast studios are located. We're glad to be down in the basement as they all work down here. It is Brett Hahn out to the point. Tim Rogers in that number 2 position. Braxton DeWeese is 3rd. They all work down the backstretch in the turn number 3. A little bit of hiccup right there. It is Hoffman right there, and if you watch him, right here, 2:30 left to go. Here, as we watch Hoffman work around here. Brett Hahn out front, opening up a second lead as we go from high above this racetrack and watch them work around here. You see Devin McDonald starting to close in on Hoffman as McDonald runs in that 5th position. But up front, it is Brett Hahn showing the way as they come up off turn number 4. 1:25 left to go. Rogers runs in spot number 2. 3rd is DeWeese in that number 8 car. Is now a battle starting to shape up as Devin McDonald closing in on the backside of the 86 of Hoffman, the driver out of Newfoundland. Brett Hahn shows the way up at the front of this one, though, as he sweeps it through turns 1 and 2. And this track, though a big mile racetrack, is a very technical racetrack. You have to be easy on the gas, easy on the brakes, let the car roll, know exactly when to get back into the gas and when to not get back in the gas, because you'll abuse those Hoosier racing tires that they have on the racetrack. Right now, we watch the top 5. The battle for the 4th position here is time about to expire. And these 30-second lap times working around the racetrack. Best time this race, well, that belongs to your race leader, the number 71 of Brett Hahn, who's going to come up off of turn number 4, and I believe is going to see the white flag, or maybe the checkered. The checkered flag is out, so they will cross the line. And Brett Hahn is going to pick up the win here this evening.
All right, that's a wrap on heat number 2. We're going to do a 3-minute warm-up, guys. 3-minute warm-up, so... All
right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after a few. You're watching the American Sim Racing Club right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. We'll be right back, everybody.
family and friends. Go bowling.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic, real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back here to Milwaukee as the American Sim Racing Club's Sunoco Invitational comes up onto the racetrack. The cars are gridding, and this is what your starting lineup is going to look like for tonight's 60-lap contest around the Milwaukee Mile. They're going to battle man, machine, and those tires here this evening as we look at your starting lineup. Starting on the inside of row number 1, this driver is one of the hottest drivers in the American Sim Racing Club. He's picked up a win at Gateway. He won the Snowball Derby. Well, almost won the Snowball Derby, I shouldn't lie. And now he will start on the pole. This is Hayden Swank. Brett the Jet will start on the outside of row number 2. On the inside of row number 2 will be Ryan Hart in the car number 51. And outside of him in the RogersCars.com, car number 48, this is Tim Rogers. Nick Fleury in car number 25 will roll off here in spot number 5. And outside of him in the Interstate Ford, car number 8, this is Braxton DeWeese. Richie Murray in car number 8 will roll off in 7th. He picked up the win 1 week ago. He'll have to go shotgun. Steve Hoffman will roll off 8th in car number 86. Zach Coyer scheduled to go off 9th. Devin McDonald 10th in the car number 18. And Zach Kaiser in car number 14 will roll off 11th. Outside of him and his dancing partner in row number 6, that'll be the 09 of Caleb Moljeski. Moljeski will roll off here in spot number 12. And your rest of your starting lineup: Brian Wildasson, Braden Cook, John DeMeester, Aaron Kahn, Andrew Hardings, Craig Tully, and Noah Boucher. And it looks like Boucher and Tully are scratches on the evening as Hayden Swank rolls through turns 3 and 4. We are about to go green flag racing. It is feature time in Milwaukee. Pace truck peels off the racetrack. We're down and away, and Swank hitting the gas pedal hard down in the turn number 1. Brett Hahn able to get into that spot number 2 as they roll up off of turn number 2 down the backstretch for the first time. Everybody fan out there, 3 wide, a little bit deeper in the back. That is John DeMeester. Here comes last week's winner from the Hickory Motor Speedway. That was the number 8 of Richie Murray, and Murray shotgun on the field, and he is starting to work his way up through the field already, passing 4 cars in just one lap. So we'll keep an eye on the number 8 of Richie Murray and his progress here this evening as they work around the racetrack. Hayden Swank out to the early race lead over Brett Hahn. And those two is trying to run away and hide, but they got to not abuse those tires as they work down through here. And look at that, the 35 having some colors on the race car this evening. How about that? You run good. He picked up some sponsors, and look at that race car, beautifully prepared, number 35. Now out front leading this one. Brent Hahn running in spot number 2, trying to make something happen as they come flashing by. A little bit deeper in the pack though, Zach Coyer in that 13 and Stephen Hoffman battling it out. That's for the 7th position. Now they start to try to make a move. Braxton DeWeese takes a look to the inside of Nick Fleury. Fleury in that 25. Trying to work down here as well. And everybody just minding their own P's and Q's as they flash back by here. No change out front, but Brett Hahn working out the back bumper of your race leader in that 35 of Swank. Can't do anything with him that time off the corner, but Hahn is there. Hoffman took a peek to the inside of Coyer. Nothing doing that time. Richie Murray all the way from the 17th position now finds himself in 11th as the battle for the 9th spot in front of him rages on. That is 4 between Devin McDonald and the number 951 of Brian Wildassin. Wildassin holding on to that position so far this evening. Make sure you hit that thumbs up there if you're watching on the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Let these drivers know that you are appreciating their efforts out here this evening as we got a bid for the race lead. Swank up the racetrack. Can he get the momentum up off to hold on to it? Brett Hahn trying to become our different leader. He yanks it sideways. And at the line, Brett the Jet going to take over the top spot. Swank back to the number 2 spot. Now we'll go back to school and try to find out where he can maybe be a little bit better than your race leader of Brett Hahn, who takes the race lead, working lap number 7. Everybody's still right there. You can see the top 7, 8 cars nose to tail within striking distance. Everybody just trying to mind their own P's and Q's, figure out which line to work best. Is that Coyer with that number 13 starting to work to the inside as well. Driver out of Tennessee made the quick trip north here to Milwaukee from his hometown to be in action. One driver that has a long drive, well, that's the number 18. The Rowdy Energy Drink entry. He's got a long ride each and every week, and that is the 18 of Devin McDonald, all the way from Newfoundland. Spends most of the time in the States traveling from racetrack to racetrack here with the American Sim Racing Club, and finds himself now sliding back to the 11th spot as last week's winner, Richie Murray, up to that number 10 spot. So Murray already up 7 spots from the drop of the green flag. And that number 8. Go on board and ride with Richie Murray. Down here into turns 3 and 4, you see him starting to close in on him. Looking out the back, McDonald tucked in line. Right behind this battle, though, that is the number 14 of Heiser. He's got Mojeski and Cook in tow. Andrew Harding's right there as well in car number 45. And that car is sharp looking as well as they work off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch. Everybody mind their own P's and Q's. Ron Hart, though, starting to close in as we got a challenge back here. Nick Fleury up the racetrack. Coyer's going to get on by. Hoffman smells the blood in the water. Hoffman trying to make a move now as the cloud cover starts to come in here at the Milwaukee Mile. Hoffman a little hot in the corner, trying to keep the 25 to the outside. He will do so currently. As now full cloud cover rolls in at the Milwaukee Mile. You can see it on your screen. It got a little bit darker out there. These drivers working around the racetrack side by side here. That is the battle for the 7th position as they work down the backstretch. Hoffman now going to take sole position of spot number 7. Fleury runs in spot 8 now. So Fleury dropping 3 spots from the start of this one. Zach Coyer. Takes a bid now under Braxton Deweese. We saw him coming and says, all right, buddy, it's early on in this one. Take the spot. We're just going to ride here. So Coyer now cracking the top 5 in that Michigan Integrity Farms entry. Battle for second, though, starting to shape up. You roll down the backstretch, you see Ron Hart there. Let's take a look at the time delta. You see where Hart has closed in on that gap. Over second, you see it was a little bit quicker there on lap 14, and it was still a little bit quicker on lap 15. 18 thousandths of a second. They work down here. Paul chasing Brett Hahn, who's out on cruise control. On the front of this one. Hayden Spank runs in second. Third spot is the 51 of Hart. Behind him, Tim Rogers in the 48 car. Zach Coyer runs in 5th. 6th spot, Braxton Deweese. 7th spot, Stephen Hoffman. Hoffman has had speed this season, but Lady Luck has not been on his side. Finds himself in that 7th position. 8th spot, Nick Fleury. Richie Murray is 9th. All the way up from the 17th spot, and he is putting some pressure on the 25 of Fleury. So Fleury and Murray, say that 10 times fast out there, folks. It'll be a tongue-tied twister. Murray taking a look to the inside. Nick Fleury can't quite do anything with him that time. Richie Murray, let's go on board with him. Right there behind the 25 of Fleury. The sun poking back out on this racetrack. Gonna make it hot and slick there. You can hear him just how easy he has to be on that throttle. Murray now taking a look to the inside of Nick Fleury off turn number 4. He's got a bead drawn to the inside. He will not get there as Fleury will slam the door shut that time in the turn number 1. Fleury up the racetrack. Here comes Murray taking the bid to the inside, digging down deep. And it is a great battle here for the 8th position. And this track getting hot and slick out there. These cars starting to move around quite a bit. As we close in on the 1/3 mark, completed here as lap 20 goes in the books. Lap 21 gets started. One-third of the way in, and Brett Hahn has taken the lead from Hayden Swank back on lap 7. It has opened up to a 1 1/4 second lead. as this battle for the 8th spot continues to rage on. Here they come down the front stretch. Once again, a little bit closer up here to Braxton. We starting to reapply the pressure to Zach Coyer. And Coyer searching for a grip down below the yellow line. Broke the momentum of DeWeese. Here comes Hoffman working the outside of the racetrack. This is what we were wondering that we would see here this evening. If that inside line would get hot and greasy, and maybe the outside line would come in a little bit. Good drag race down the front stretch here in the turn number 1. As it is the number 8 of DeWeese holding on to that 6th spot for the time being. You are watching the American Sim Racing Club's late model invitational, fueled by Sunoco in its hometown of Cutlerville, Sunoco in specifics. It's a proud supplier of all the racing fuel here for the American Sim Racing Club Super Late Model Series. Not only fueling victories here, but also fueling your cars for your own personal victories. Week in and week out, make sure you stop by the Sunoco in Cutlerville and tell them the American Sim Racing Club sent you their way. Always good there to get some gas, maybe a little bit of a snack if you're out there on the roads doing some traveling. As we watch the battle here, these 5 cars really starting to put some pressure. Now Nick Fleury starting to roll back forward, is now wondering if the 13 of Coyer maybe used up the good, got those tires angry as DeWeese now really applying the pressure, takes a look to the inside, rolls out of it early, goes in underneath Coyer. Coyer up the racetrack. Great battle action up off a turn. Here is Zach Coyer on the outside holding off currently the advances of that Interstate Ford of DeWeese. DeWeese down to the inside. He's going to dig deep up off the corner. Stephen Hoffman trying to figure out which lane to go with. Hoffman rolls the inside through turns 1 and 2 up off of the corner. Good battling here on the racetrack, and this slows up the advances of Fleury. Fleury to the inside. Coyer in the outside retaining wall. Slows his momentum down the back stretch, and that drops him back to the 9th position. DeWeese now clean air in front of him, but he's some 3 seconds back of 4th place running Rogers, closing in on the halfway point of the Milwaukee 60. Your race leader is this man in his own zip code, listening to whatever music he's got. We'll have to check him for some traction control, make sure it's not hooked up through his Apple Watch or anything like that. These drivers go through a rigorous post-race technical inspection. Cars get torn down to the cyber frame rails. As now Ron Hart starts to close in on Hayden Swank there for the number 2 spot. From high above the racetrack with our Hoosier Racing blimp, we see what's happening here with this battle for the number 2 spot. I tell you, the battle is back here. If we get the camera to pan back to it, Nick, Fleury, Murray, and Coyer all duking it out. You see the 86 there getting to the outside, trying to find some momentum. Braxton DeWeese has left that battle since clearing them, getting some fresh air on the front of that Ford Mustang. So 30 laps in, let's do our Sunoco run-through of the field. Right now, your race leader is the 71 of Brett Hahn. Out on the front of this one, running in second, the driver out of Georgia. This is Hayden Swank. Third spot, Ron Hart in car number 51 running there in spot number 3, right where he started. And Tim Rogers running fourth, the driver out of Binghamton, New York. Fifth spot is Braxton DeWeese, the driver out of Miamisburg, Ohio. Running there. There's one car up the racetrack. That was Stephen Murray. Is now Nick Flory will take over that sixth spot. Seventh spot is Richie Murray. Remember, he started back in the 17th position because of winning last week at Hickory. Eighth spot, Zach Coyer. Now ninth is the driver, the 86. We saw him hit the wall in the front stretch. That is Stephen Hoffman. Rounding out the top 10, the driver out of Newfoundland, the 18 Rowdy Energy Drink entry. This is Devin McDonald. 11th spot is the 951 of Brian Wildanson, the driver out of Hanover, Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania being represented here with Brian Wildanson, and he runs in the 11th spot. Zach Kaiser in car number 14 runs in spot 12. Mojeski in the 09, the driver out of Rockford, Michigan, runs in spot 13. 14th spot, Brandon Cook, as he works down here with that Ford Mustang. Eric Hahn, the driver out of Brighton, Michigan, runs in 15th spot. Andrew Hardings is 16th, right there behind him, the driver out of Hudsonville, Michigan, in the CCM Welding and Fabrication Wheel Engineering Company. Car number 45. And John DeMeester in the Tallarico's Boardwalk Subs entry runs here in spot 17. That rounds out your running order here just past the halfway point, and it is Stephen Hoffman coming down pit road first with the 86. Gotta wonder if we are going to see a lot of green flag pit stops here this evening. Hoffman will come to a stop here on the front stretch in his pit stops, and he's going to take at least right sides. We'll keep an eye on him as your race leader flashes by to put him down one lap. With 25 laps to go, will Hoffman force everyone to come down pit road? And Stephen Hoffman staying on pit road an extended time. You gotta wonder if damage after hit contact with the outside wall. Tough break for the 86. Hayden Swink, though, trying to find a gear to get away from Ron Hart. Hart really stalking him in that number 51 as they work down the backstretch. Brent Hahn is the leader. Back here a little bit deeper. Mojeski in the 11th spot. Eric Hahn in spot number 14. He's trying to chase down the 49 of Cook. Harding's right there behind them. So these drivers all equally spaced out by about a couple seconds. As now Zach Kaiser in the 14 will come down pit road to the attention of his pit crew. Brent Hondo out front of this one by 2.3 seconds. So the Jet has the rocket fuel inside that number 71 entry. Right there behind him, Hayden Swank trying to hold on to the spot. He's set fast time here tonight. Picked up the win in heat race number 1. He would love to do the clean sweep once again like he did down at the Gateway International Raceway, or the Worldwide Racing Tech if you prefer that. Everyone doing a good job cleaning green so far. Braxton DeWisto has really cut in to the 48 of Tim Rogers, so DeWeese trying to get one spot higher on the run. As the three cars behind him seem content to kind of just ride there, maybe working together, trying to close in on them as well. Swank a little bit that time, cutting in with 20 laps to go to your race lead as he has opened up a little bit of a gap over to 51 of Hart. Murray going to try something here. Gets to the back bumper to 25. Can't do anything this time off of turn number 2. Fleury with too much forward drive. Take a look now. Murray down to the inside here on the front stretch. Does he make a move into turn number 1? Tries to, but the door gets shut by Fleury. Fleury shuts the door up off the corner here. So Fleury and Murray still stuck together. And they are maybe starting to make some ground up on Braxton DeWeese, whose car got a little bit wide that time. Ron Hart to the inside into turn number 1. Hart gonna make the move. He does up off the corner. Hayden Swank though, crossover move down the back stretch. See if he can get back by the 51 of Hart. Hart up the racetrack. Swank down low. Up off the corner, it'll be Hayden Swank. And a great drag race down the front stretch here at Milwaukee, and a sold-out crowd for the American Sim Racing Club's Super Late Model Invitational presented by Sunoco. And they are seeing a great battle here for spot number 2. Lap traffic dead ahead in the form of the number 2 of John DeMeester. And Swank and Hart putting on a show for this crowd as they work down here on the front stretch. That time at the line it was Hart. Swank pulls back in front. Now Hart back to the outside of him. And will John DeMeester come into play with this great battle? Will Hart try to use him as a pick, or will Swank put the 51 into him as a pick? Through turns 3 and 4 and up off the corner number 4. Swank there as well. DeMeester going to go to the outside, it looks like. Down to the inside. John DeMeester, the gentleman thing to do, got up out of the way. Let that battle rage on, and it is still a good one. Swank and Hart side by side. Drag race into turn 3. Wheel to wheel through turns 3 and 4, and these drivers showing a lot of respect. Oh, Hart got a little bit sideways. Swank gonna hold on to that second spot. Tim Rogers back into the 4th position. Braxton DeWeester, you see it on your screen, has closed in, and with closing in, he has also brought in Nick, Fleury, Murray, and Coyer. All those drivers really closing in on the 48 of Rogers, who finds himself 2 seconds off the battle for second. As Brett Hahn, has anybody seen him? He has checked out 4 seconds. He's left the keys on the desk here at the Milwaukee Mile. As this one stays green, he is on the cruise control. Oh, John DeMeester on the outside wall in front of your lap car or race cars. John DeMeester able to get up out of the way after making contact with the retaining wall down the back stretch. Everybody able to get by okay. Braxton DeWeese will go on board with him, looking out the front of the car, trying to close in. On Rogers, so a half second behind him still, but closing in ever so slightly on the RogersCars.com 48. And right there behind him, he's got the wily old veteran of Nick Fleury closing in on him as well. Last time by, let's see who was the fastest driver. It was Brett Hahn with a 31.3. No, 31.2, so he's picked up the wick with 10 laps to go. 10 laps to go for Brett Hahn at the line. He's a 10th quicker. Then second place, Hayden Swank. So Swank holding on to that number 2 position. The battle for 4th starting to shape up here with 9 to go as they roll here through turns 3 and 4. Down the front stretch they go. Deweese to the inside. Can he make something happen? Can't do it this time. Richie Murray back here as well. Still hounding the backside of Fleury, but how impressive is that? 10 spots up on an all-green flag race for Richie Murray. And him and Nick Fleury have put on a great show for us here tonight. Deweese now to the backside of Rogers. Can he make a move? It's got to be calculated. Down to here in the turn number 3 he comes to the inside. Rogers running just above that pavement stripe. Up off the corner he comes. Braxton Deweese going to get a good drive up off. He's going to move to that 4th spot now. So Braxton Deweese up 1. Relegating Tim Rogers back to 5th. Rogers trying to cross him back over. Can't quite get to the inside of him. And Braxton Deweese is safe. Deweese shows what we have here in the spot number 4 with 6 laps to go. Brett Hahn out there on cruise control. Look at him. Nice and simple, nice and easy on that gas. Coming up to put his dad down. 1 lap to go. We'll ride on board with him as he gets the high 5 from our flagger man, Stevie. Thank you, Stevie. 5 laps to go here for Brett Hahn, who is 3.8 seconds in front of Hayden Swank. Swank has really opened up the gap over Hart. Those two looking to finish out on the podium. As they work down here between turns 3 and 4. 4 to go. 4 to 71. Rogers now starting to feel some pressures. These 5 cars, nose to tail. The 5th car there, that's the 14 of Heiser. Remember, he came down pit road to get some tires on that car, as he's going to try to mix it up with these race leaders. Time will tell as they close in. I believe that is going to be the 45 of Hardings. Three to go. Now Fleury takes a look to the inside. Can Nick Fleury work underneath Tim Rogers? They're on board with Rogers taking a look to that inside. Still there, still there, still there. As they work around the 45 of Hardings. And they will get on by, and that's going to allow Fleury into spot number 5. So Tim Rogers with 2 laps to go. Given up there is now your race leader has shrunk to 3 seconds. Brett Hahn out on the front of this one. Gotta wonder, maybe fuel getting a little bit low on that 71. He stays right there behind the 7-Eleven Drafton as the white flag comes out. Final trip around the Milwaukee Mile is Hayden Swank trying to get there as fast as he can. Can't quite do it though. Final trip down the backstretch into turn number 3. He set second fastest time in qualifying. Comes home with a heat race win. And now he will etch his name into the winner's books for the third time this season. It'll be the 71 of Brett Hahn picking up the win. Hayden Swank will come home in spot number 2. Third spot to Hart. Fourth, Luis Nick Fleury. Rounding out your top 5. And we got a good battle back here as Wildassa comes by. Mojeski going to come up off the corner. He'll finish in the 11th spot. Braden Cook in the 49 will come home in spot number 12. And Eric Hahn coming off the corner. He will finish 13th on the lead lap here this evening. And just like that, the race goes green to checkered in just a little bit over a half hour as Brett Hahn picks up the win here this evening. As he works down here on the front stretch, doing the victory dance. Spins it down here in what was a fantastic race for the 71. And let's see, we'll start our post-race show here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. And let's take a look here and see who we can get here as we take a look at our post-race show presented by LaPlante Racing Services here this evening. That is who is bringing us our post-race show. Is Ron Hart will come home in spot number 3. Second spot is going to go to the 35 of Hayden Swank. And your race winner here this evening will be car number 71, the driver out of Michigan. I think we got to check that fuel, Mr. Hahn, for some jet fuel. Man, you lived up to your nickname here this evening. You made quick work of Hayden Swank there on lap number 6, and you never looked back all the way here to the finish here in a green to checkered night here for what is becoming a regular thing for the American Sim Racing Club. Congratulations on your win.
Yeah, thank you, Al. I tell you what, this thing was hooked up, like you said. Hopefully everything passes tech. It should be. What they say they're teching, everything should pass there. Hopefully they don't tech anything that they shouldn't. And we should be golden and walking away with the victory. But yeah, Al, this thing was hooked up. Man, do I love Milwaukee. It's such a driver's track of kind of putting it on the limit, really flowing the car and really trying to kind of feel what the car wants from you each and every lap.
Yeah, I talked about in the broadcast just how tricky this place is. You think, oh, a big mile racetrack, you're just wide open, it's easy. But this track, very technical, line sensitive, and it seemed like you had it pretty figured out here this evening.
Yeah, I did, Al. I tell you what, off of turn 4, if you got too high, this thing was snapping around on you. And this place, you know, it's fairly easy to run the right line, but man, once you start pushing even a little bit, man, is it hard to keep on that line, because one little mistake in this place will bite you very quickly. I tell you what, I think I was probably one of the lowest cars on entry into 1, and that was to make sure I hit the apex every lap. You know, the one thing you don't want to do is go wide here and really eat up that right front more than you need to, or at least heat it up.
Yeah, you got that grip, I call it the grip line down on the inside where they put that fresh pavement there. And at the end of the race there, we saw you caught the backside of the 7-Eleven of Papahan. And were you just riding there trying to save some fuel? How was the fuel situation here tonight at Milwaukee?
Well, you know, Al, everything's a learning and teaching aspect, let's say, and trying to give the old man some pointers at the end of the race there, give him some good insight, see where he was maybe a little bit slower, see where he can work on next time. But yeah, didn't want to put him a lap down just in case, God forbid, a late race yellow that really would have thrown a wrench in our plan. But luckily didn't have that. Set sail, like you said, the jet took off like a rocket ship and never looked back.
Well, you're going to come home in that spot number 1 here for the 3rd time this season. And it's got to feel good here in Milwaukee. Next week we head down to one of my favorite racetracks, the New Smyrna, down there in Florida, there on the east coast of Florida. What's the outlook for you in the 71? You're going to have to start shotgun once again.
Yeah, that place is going to be tough to start shotgun because, as you know, that front stretch wall has that curve in it, and it tends to reach out and bite people at the worst time. So we're going to put our thinking caps on for that race, try and come up with a good strategy, be smart about our race, and hopefully be there at the end. But, yeah, I haven't turned a lap in New Smyrna in a while, so have to go down there, play around after this new short track update with the track and see how dominant that top side is, at least in 1 and 2.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time here and talking with us. We're watching the 71 there roll around the racetrack and some fast laps that you set here this evening. Who makes it all possible to be here talking to us on the Turn 3 Racing Network behind the scenes for the 71 team?
Yeah, thank you, Al. Of course, got to give a huge shout-out to Turn 3 Racing Network here. Always putting on a great broadcast, have them on the car. Always happy to have them and represent them in a good showing like tonight. 3rd win, can't believe it. Of course, also on the car, Quick Time Motorsports media wrap on the car. You slap one of those things on your sim car, you're at least a tenth faster, I like to say. We got Rogers Cars, RHU with all the teammates. Tim picking up 2nd in the heat race, staying with me. Very proud of him with that. Nick Fleury had a pretty good run, so got to give a shout-out to all those guys, of course. My dad, Eric, got to give him a shout-out, keeping that car all in one piece here. He's hoping to get top 10 in points. We'll see if that shakes on out. And yeah, Al, of course, Sunoco Race Fuels, got to give them a huge shout out. LaPlante Racing Products, and I think that will be most of them, Al. And of course, all the Brett the Jet fans out there, can't forget them. Everyone tuning on into the broadcast. Looks like some pretty good interaction there tonight, so appreciate everyone tuning on in. Got to give a shout out to the family watching, Grammy and the girlfriend Jessie.
Well, congratulations, Brett. We look forward to seeing what you can do next week at New Smyrna for that next race, round at number 12 this season, quickly coming to an end. We're going to start talking about the points. But congratulations here this evening on your 3rd win of 2023 and 24 season.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Also, with the shotgun challenge, everyone always looks at it as, that's a big uphill battle. But, man, do I love passing cars. Gives you some great racecraft, and I look forward to starting shotgun on the field.
Well, congratulations, Brett. We look forward to that. And you don't hear that too often from the drivers. They're looking forward to starting with everyone in front of them. We'll see how that works out for you, my man. But until then, keep it wheels down, and we'll see you in turn 3.
All righty. Thanks, Al. Keep up the great work.
There you go. That is your race winner here this evening, Brett the Jet Hahn. And the driver that comes home 1 spot shy, but a great night and a brand new looking paint scheme. We finally got some stickers on this number 35, the driver out of Georgia. And you're going to come home with a 2nd place finish here, Hayden, and a green to checkered run here at the Milwaukee Mile. Very impressive. This track, very tricky and easy to overshot and get into someone. You had a great battle there with the 51 of Hart. You're going to come home 2nd here at Milwaukee. Talk us through your race, and what else did you need out of this race car?
Obviously we're really fast in qualifying, and I felt like when it came time for the heat race, we were able to find a pretty good rhythm, but I don't know what it was. Come the feature race, I just wasn't able to quite figure it out. Even if we did, I'm not sure we had a whole lot for the 71 in the long run, but either way, we still had a great battle with Ron there. I know I got into him a few times, but it was still a pretty solid run. Good points tonight. Just needed probably a little bit more on entry all the way around.
Well, congratulations on that 2nd place run. I mean, you've been on a little bit of a hot streak here. You set fast time tonight. You win your heat race and heat race number 1 before we came on the air, and you're going to start on the pole. You slid back to 2nd, but you were up there, and you were really starting to close in on the back side of that 71 at the end of the race. Yeah,
it felt like I came to life. The last 7-8 laps, which I was really excited about. But after that, I felt like if I found what we found there, I think we would have been maybe able to challenge the 71 or at least close up to him a little bit more there at the end. But either way, it was still, another solid night. Just wish I had a little bit more, a little bit earlier on.
Well, second place, not anything to shake at, a stick at. And, well, here's the good news. Well, maybe it's not good news. It depends on how you look at it. You don't have to start last at New Smyrna.
Yeah, out of all the tracks I want to start last at, it's not one of them. So we'll see if, the gap we can put between us and the 71 will be enough next week and hopefully go and get the job done.
Well, man, good luck at New Smyrna. But I see you got some stickers on this car. I'm going to say it's about damn time that we got some stickers on this race car. Who are the new stickers? Talk about that sponsorship and who all behind the scenes makes it all possible for this 35.
Yeah, just wanted to give a huge shout out to the ASRC for putting this show on. As always, Sunoco, Boardwalk Subs, Turn 3, LaPlante, and of course, definitely got to thank QuickTime Motorsports Media for this week. Really appreciate everything that they do. Got me looking right this week. Like you said, it's about time. The plane car wasn't quite cutting the mustard there at the end. So definitely really excited to be back. And yeah, looking forward to next week.
Well, congratulations on that second place finish. We look forward to see you down at the New Smyrna Speedway. Until then, Hayden, we'll see you in turn 3, buddy.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
There you go. That is tonight's second place finisher. The driver of the 35 of the QuickTime Media Motorsports. Car number 35 of Hayden Swank. And we are unable to get in touch with our third place finisher this afternoon. The number 51 of Ron Hart. A little bit hot after this race. Understandable. Very warm here tonight at the Milwaukee Mile. Taken to the Infield Care Center. Was talking with our safety officials, so we'll make sure that Ron is going to get all the attention he needs. But he had a great run rounding out in the podium here this evening, so we wish Ron a speedy recovery. We'll see him next week, hopefully, at the New Smyrna Speedway. But only one thing left to do, that is to take a look at your final results here this evening. Brett Hahn picking up the win over Hayden Swank and Ron Hart. Braxton Deweese rallied for a nice fourth place finish. Nick Fleury fifth. Sixth spot goes to Richie Murray after starting 17th, to a nice rebound for the driver of the number 8. Tim Rogers will come home 7th. Zach Coyer 8th. Devin McDonald and Brian Wildassin rounding out your top 10. One spot outside of the top 10 was Caleb Mojeski in car number 09. Braden Cook in 12th. Eric Hahn 13th. Zach Heiser, Andrew Hardings, John DeMeester rounding out, and Stephen Hoffman, your 17 cars that took the green flag. Craig Tully and Noah Boucher unable to take the green flag here this evening at Milwaukee. But that will do it here this evening, as it was the driver of that number 71 picking up the win here this evening at the Milwaukee Mile. We thank you all for tuning on in here this evening. We thank all of the Braxton Deweese fan club for chiming on in. Make sure you hit that thumbs up there, folks. Let these drivers know you appreciate what they do for you on the racetrack. 1 week's time, we will be headed to the New Smyrna Speedway. But for the final time from Milwaukee, it's been a pleasure bringing you all of tonight's racing action here this evening. I am Upstate Al here from the Turn 3 Racing Network. We thank you for tuning on in. Keep it wheels down, and we'll see you in turn number 3.